This week on Screening Room, we have a maniacal serial assassin, we have mermaids and dragons, and a killer shark. So stay tuned for this week's edition of Screening Room. Hello, my name is Nate Weggehout, and welcome to this week's edition of Screening Room. I am joined today with my two friends.
I'm Noelle Housen.
Hi there, I'm Ty Bjornsson.
And today we are going to be talking about movies based on books. So we are going to start with, of course, one of my favorite movies of all time, No Country for Old Men, based on the book by acclaimed author Cormac McCarthy. No Country for Old Men is the ultimate tale of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Llewellyn Moss, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, played by Josh Brolin, stumbles upon a drug deal gone bad while he's hunting in the South Texas desert. It's here that he finds a bag full of cash, which belongs to a white-collar drug lord who sends his way the world's most dangerous hired gun, a man named Sugar, like the coffee, played by Hollywood's most resident creeper, forgive me if I pronounce his name wrong, Javier Bardem. What follows is an intense game of cat and mouse, with Moss on the run from Sugar, both of whom are being chased by Sheriff Bell, who is played by Tommy Lee Jones, who just wants to figure out what's going on. The two innocent bystanders stumble into an unfortunate world that is both unforgiving and dark, all because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let's take a look at that trailer.
Let me ask you something. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. Just call it friendo.
Llewellyn, what's in the satchel?
Full of money?
He's just a guy who happened to find that money.
I got a bad feeling, Llewellyn.
It's a mess, ain't it, Sheriff?
If it ain't, it'll do till the mess gets here.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
You go up to his trailer.
Yes.
Do you want to leave a message?
Yes.
If I don't come back, you tell Mother I love her.
Your mother's dead.
Well, then I'll tell her myself. I've got a loose cannon here.
You think this boy Moss has got any notion of the sorts that are hunting him?
I don't know, he ought to. He's seen the same things I've seen, and it certainly made an impression on me.
Just how dangerous is it?
Compared to what? The bubonic plague?
The crime you see now, it's hard to even take its measure. It's just all out war.
You can't stop what's coming. Is this guy supposed to be the ultimate badass?
You don't understand.
This movie is one of those rare instances where the movie far surpasses the book. Being a huge fan of both the movie and the book, the darkness and the atmosphere that it really portrays within the book is magnified through the beautiful imagery that the movie pertains. The scoping desert shots in the beginning of the movie, followed by the dark scenes in the motel room, and then as they drive through the hotel near the end there, just makes it a beautiful movie. And yeah, it's one of my favorite of all time. So, guys, what do you guys think about this movie?
Very good. Like you, I have a hard time remembering Hervé's name, but he is effectively creepy.
He's one of the creepiest people in Hollywood, correct?
He really is.
Is there someone who has a weirder, creepier face than his? I can't think of anyone.
Maybe the dude that plays Machete. Danny Trejo?
Maybe Danny Trejo?
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
And that's a big possibly. He is just a terrifying human being.
And what I like about No Country for Old Men is that it's directed by the Coen brothers, and they're known for doing engaging and interesting pieces. So if you're going to watch one of their movies, you know you're going to have something to think about when it's over.
Yeah, and this movie, it's definitely that. It's engaging. It grips you. It has you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Oh, it's so good.
And even when the Coens do comedy, they do that right too. So they can do drama and comedy, and this movie has a little bit of more drama, I think, than some of the others, but it just wraps you right in.
Exactly. I think down the board, just all the acting is phenomenal, especially Tommy Lee Jones. Just like, he just really knocks it out of the park this time of just old, retired, I don't care anymore, sheriff, but I do care. I don't care about the rules. I care about getting it done.
Right.
Getting to the bottom of this. It's just his acting. This is my favorite Tommy Lee Jones movie.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, he is just phenomenal, and just the atmosphere and just all the color schemes throughout the entire movie. It's just dark and just sort of bleak, and it really, if you've ever read any of the other Cormac McCarthy books, it just really it fits that bill to a T. So next up, we are going to look at one more movie, or two more movies, but before that, we are going to take a look at some of those perfect pets.
Hi, I'm Copper. I'm a down-to-earth 7-year-old coonhound. I'm a sucker for a relaxing walk in the outdoors, but I also love just hanging out with my parents at home.
Yippee! We're Hannah and Emily, two 12-week lab mixes ready for a playful home.
My sister and I are full of energy. We're both troublemakers and love making mischief.
Hi, I'm Nazca. I'm a pensive 4-month-old kitty that can be nervous at first, but really just a curious little kitten.
Oh, hey there! This is Mama Kitty here. And I'm just a friendly feline, and I'm looking for a forever home.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Alright, so the next movie we're going to talk about is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is the 4th book in the Harry Potter series. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire takes us into the 4th year at Hogwarts for the titular character Harry Potter, played by Daniel Radcliffe, along with his best friends Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, played by Emma Watson and Rupert Grint. This year provides new threats at Hogwarts as Hogwarts prepares to host the Triwizard Tournament against the Bulgarian school Durmstrang and the French school Beauxbatons Academy. Each school will provide one champion, chosen by the Goblet of Fire. However, things spiral as a 4th name is revealed. Harry Potter joins other Hogwarts champion Cedric Diggory, played by Robert Pattinson, to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. Harry is faced with a death-defying task he never asked for, facing dragons and creatures of the Black Lake alike. In addition to the challenge of the Triwizard Tournament, Harry is faced with a new hurdle. He now must face the hardships of adolescence, all while trying to stay alive. With the help of his friends, he navigates through the horrors the tournament brings, along with the suspected and inevitable return of the Dark Lord. Hogwarts is not safe anymore, and Harry Potter experiences the dangers that befall it firsthand. So now let's take a look at the trailer for Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
I'd like to make an announcement. Hogwarts Castle will not only be your home this year, but home to some very special guests as well. Please Please welcome our friends from the north, the proud sons of Durmstrang. And now, the lovely ladies of Beauxbatons.
I was just wondering if maybe you wanted to go to the ball with me.
Mr. Weasley, place your right hand on my waist.
Well?
Is that Hermione Granger with Victor Crumb?
You're fraternizing with the enemy.
The enemy?
Hogwarts has been chosen to host a legendary event, the Triwizard Tournament. And now, the champion selection. Victor Crumb, Fleur Delacour, Cedric Diggory, Harry Potter!
How did you do it? I didn't put my name in that cup. I don't want eternal glory. It's Blood-Eye Moody.
Avada Kedavra. The killing curse. Only one person is known to have survived it, and he's sitting in this room.
People die in this tournament. The devils are inside the walls. Something's coming closer. I can feel it. The Dark Lord shall rise again. Is it Voldemort?
So this Harry Potter adaptation, book to movie, is one of the more accurate ones. And as we see Harry Potter grow up, get older, the movies and the books, like the storylines, actually get darker, and they explore more like adult themes as Harry Potter grows into an adult. This book takes a little bit of a different turn, or this movie book takes a little bit of a different turn from the first three, which have very similar setups where they go to Hogwarts, something happens, and they fix it at the school, whereas this one has the big Triwizard Tournament, so it gives it not only the difference in his age, but also a different type of storyline. So what do you guys think of this?
This movie in particular is one of my favorite Harry Potter movies, just of all of them. Just the cinematography is just amazing. The special effects are awesome. The music is great. It's a great movie. I love it.
And I think that's what you get out of a Harry Potter film, is primarily just for an experience. I mean, you want that cinematography, you want the adventure, you want the story, and I get all of that when I watch Harry Potter. And like Noelle had said, I believe that this is the first PG-13 rated Harry Potter in the series. I think the first two for sure are PG. The third movie, I'm not sure, but this is definitely stepping up the ante. And it's neat to see it go in broader directions as the characters develop.
Yeah, and you also get a first look at Voldemort.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In this movie, the first time you get to see him like as a
in his full form. Yeah.
So that's kind of terrifying.
Yes, it's a great movie. The music as well. Just this one in particular, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It just really grips you and it makes you feel the movie just a little bit more than feel like all the other movies. And actually, this is, in my opinion, one of the last good Harry Potter movies. Just the early, it's sort of like the transition movie. You have the earlier ones, which are all, they're still kids, and then you have the later ones where they're pretty much grown up at that point. Yeah. But with this movie, they're sort of in between. There's a little bit of both, a little bit childish and then a little bit older, more mature as well, and I think it's great.
Well, and it's still pretty accurate to the books, which I think in this type of book to movie adaptation is really important to be pretty close to, like, true to the book compared to the movie. So after this one, the books get longer, so it's harder to make the movies true to the books. So
yeah, there's just, I really like the idea of the Triwizard Tournament. I just think it's just fantastic.
Yeah, all right, so stay tuned for Screening Room, but we'll be right back after a look at the UWL Comm Club.
Hi there. Just wanted to talk about one of my favorite movies, a film that's been with me for quite a long time. That would be based on Peter Benchley's best-selling novel. Steven Spielberg's 1975 Shark Saga set the standard for the new Hollywood popcorn blockbuster while frightening millions of moviegoers out of the water. That would be Jaws. One early summer night on sleepy Amity Island, Chrissy decides to take a moonlit swim while her friends party on the beach. Yanked suddenly below the ocean surface, she never returns. After her remains wash ashore, Police Chief Brody, played by Roy Scheider, suspects the worst. Young Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, an oceanographer, deduces the shores of Amity are now the preying ground of a rogue great white shark. After battling tourism politics with the mayor and more victims to the great white, Chief Brody and Hooper join forces with flinty old salt Quint, played by Robert Shaw, the local shark fisherman willing to take on a great white, especially since the price is right. The three ride on Quint's boat, the Orca, soon coming face to face with the enemy. And
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. This is Universal's extraordinary motion picture version of Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, Jaws.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it. You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous, but you were swimming anyway.
Psychological. You yell barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Is it true that most people get attacked by sharks in 3 feet of water, about 10 feet from the beach?
Yeah.
What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine.
We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark.
Bad fish, but I'll catch him and kill him.
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
This shark, swallow you whole.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons on them.
Count it up, he's coming straight for us. Don't screw it up now. Don't wait for me. Now! Shoot!
Fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
In 2015, Jaws celebrated its 40th anniversary. It's hard to believe that it's been that long already since that film came out. And about that, Steven Spielberg, this was his second theatrical film after The Sugar Land Express in 1973, a movie that didn't do very good at the box office. He had this film come out, and it was the first film to break over $100 million at the U.S. box office. And that was quite a gamble for producers Zanuck and Brown and Universal Studios, as Spielberg was basically an untried director, and he was 29 years old at the time of the shooting. And I understand that we have a little bit of a story here on Jaws, and I think it pertains to the music score by John Williams.
Yes, I do actually. It has to do, of course, we have that very famous the da-da-da-da theme that we have there. Back in the 1970s when they were scoring movies, they would score the entire movie in one sitting. So what they do is they'd have the entire orchestra come in and they would play through the entire score once, and then just as a practice. And then after that, they'd go through and and then they'd record it. So they'd only play it two times before, or one time before it's recorded. The tuba player that day, I'm a tuba player, so I know all sorts of tuba stories. The tuba player that day showed up late, and so he showed up and he missed the first rehearsal, the first run-through of the piece. So he showed up with his big van, and he just had all his tubas in the back of his van, and he just grabbed a random tuba and went out and he played on the recording. Now, the tuba does not play the da-da-da-da theme that you hear in it, but instead it plays the da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da you hear at the end of it.
Which is fantastic.
In case you don't know too much about tuba, which why wouldn't you? That is a very hard thing to play. So the fact that he was able to knock that out of the park first round is amazing.
And that's a score that stayed with everybody that scored at Jaws. And I'd say that John Williams drew inspiration from, I think, Elmer Bernstein's score for Psycho with and I think when he played the theme for the shark to Spielberg with two fingers on the piano, Spielberg's like, "You're kidding," dun 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 dun, and then he was able to prove that this was going to be a great score, and here we are 40 years later talking about it.
And of course the score is important to just the tension of the movie, and this movie's full of that tension. It's just so tense, and it just really keeps you on edge the whole time, despite the fact that the shark actually doesn't show up a whole lot in the movie. There's a handful of scenes with it, but and then at the end, but of course a lot of it's just thinking about the shark.
You know why that is, right?
Why is that?
Because during production they had a hard time getting, the shark was mechanical. This is before computer-generated images. And they had to do live special effects, and the shark was not functioning. So Spielberg was able to do things with a camera to kind of imply the shark is there moving through the water, so it made the shark all the more a mystery, and you don't see the shark until about the third reel of the picture, which is well over an hour into it. And I suppose that was the big reveal, and I think it made it more effective. So it was a malfunction that made it a stronger movie.
Yeah, and it's really cool that this, the music that is played in Jaws has become like such an iconic sound, so that it doesn't just represent a shark like coming to attack someone, like it can be the sound for like anything scary.
Right, tension.
And that's what you think of, it's not just the shark, which is pretty cool
that
happened.
The beginning of John Williams' superstardom, because it got him the work for Jaws, or from Jaws into Star Wars, and then the first two Harry Potter pictures, and we talked about Harry Potter earlier in the...
Yeah, so let's talk about some other movies based on books. Of course, a lot of movies throughout the years have been based on books. What are some of your favorites?
Well, strangely enough, it's an unlikely picture for somebody like me, but I love the 1982 animated film, The Last Unicorn. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it or read the book.
Yep.
Love the music by America and the Last Unicorn song, and then the book was a 1968 book by Peter S. Beagle, and very poetic. It's a lovely read.
Great movie. What about you, Noelle?
Well, my favorite, if you couldn't tell, is Harry Potter, but I also, back in the day, was a very big fan of Twilight, and that whole series, which I know now is gets made fun of a lot, but when I first read it, I think I was in 6th grade, and I was just very into it, went to all the midnight premieres, and that was another thing that, like Harry Potter had this huge, following, and all the fans were, insane and crazy. Anything you?
Ever since an early age, I've been a huge fan of Stephen King, actually. And so one of my favorite, just this past weekend, I watched Children of the Corn, which is a fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. 1984, yes. And then, of course, The Shining, which is completely different from the book in a much better way. That's
Which
one of
is why ABC had a miniseries on The Shining to be different from the Stanley Kubrick film.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I saw it at the Riv last year on Halloween, or around Halloween. I can't remember exactly which. And it was
So you like
amazing.
the movie better than the book?
Yes, that's one of the very few
Wow.
instances where I
That
think
doesn't
the movie is even better than the book.
It's beautifully made.
Yes.
And if you've seen it on Blu-ray, I am personal friends with Pat Miller. He is a retired colorist from Warner Brothers who got to colorize and adjust the contrast for The Shining's transfer to Blu-ray.
Really? That's awesome.
And the contrast, the greens and the reds look fantastic in the hallway when Danny is, Danny's not home, Mrs. Torrance and all that.
So what are some other movies based on books, Ty?
I like teen books, and I love The Outsiders. I don't know if you've read the book or seen the movie.
I've read and seen both.
Yes. Stay Gold, Pony Boy.
Stay Gold.
And
Stay Gold.
Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who's also good friends with Spielberg. And I think that was a pretty good translation from print to film.
Yes, I agree. I think that was a fantastic book and movie. How about you, Noelle?
I recently read a book called Big Little Lies, and it wasn't turned into a movie, but it was adapted into like a TV series. And I thought that was really interesting that they took this book and turned it into a TV series that I don't think they're really planning on doing a second season. They just did the TV to make it long enough to fit everything in compared to a movie.
All right, now let's take a look at some of the new movies coming into theaters. First of all, we have Happy Death Day coming in pretty soon here. We also have Goodbye Christopher Robin, which is a movie about the author of course, Winnie the Pooh. We have Breathe coming into theaters fairly soon. Marshall, and of course, The Foreigner. After that, coming up on DVD here, we have the movie Vikings coming up fairly soon. We also have the newest Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I look forward to seeing that one.
Is that number 4 or 5?
I believe that is number 5.
Wow.
We also have the movie Churchill coming out on DVD fairly soon, as well as the movie The Wizard of Lives. And finally, coming up soon at the Riv, we have Dunkirk, of course, the World War I movie. World War I?
Might be 2. I think it's 2, yep. And then my wife and I want to catch that.
Spider-Man Homecoming, the newest Marvel movie.
Good movie.
Wind River, which is a fantastic movie if you have not seen. Looks great. And the newest Wonder Woman movie. That is coming out to the Riv fairly soon. I believe Wonder Woman is in Riv right now.
I think I have a small crush on Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
No particular reason.
She's a very good Wonder Woman.
Yes, I look forward to seeing that movie up at the Riv here. So that'll be great. I haven't seen it yet, so yeah, I look forward to seeing it.
Next month, it's a continuation into Justice League.
Oh, really? Justice League is next month already?
Yep, that'll be November 17th release.
I guess I'll have to go see it at the Riv then.
Right.
Yeah, I need to catch up. Well, it was great sitting here with you guys today, talking some great movie talk. I'm talking a lot of horror movies this week with all the, it's Halloween coming up, so, we got to talk about horror movies,
We
right?
should definitely watch The Shining.
Yes, you should always definitely watch The Shining. Stanley Kubrick is one of my favorite directors, and that's a fantastic horror movie. Jaws, of course.
Yep.
Great horror movie. No Country for Old Men, not exactly
but the dude's
a horror
creepy.
movie, but
The
yeah,
dude is very creepy.
he is very
you
creepy.
could put him in
and
a horror movie and he would fit in.
Yes, and it's very tense, and it's it's basically a horror movie, more or less.
Good thriller.
And then, Harry Potter. I mean, that's a scarier one. So that'll do us.
Crap going on in Harry Potter.
Yeah, that'll do it for the week, I think. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week on Screening Room.